Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal Kadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. And so behind me is what used to be Sears here in Redding. And that's the spirit right there. I had just made it last year. What's this being all fenced off for? Well, they're demolishing the building of what once was Sears. So, America is losing its power. And, around here, the Carr fire, which now is currently the Delta fire. And if you look at the burn man there, they're all next to each other, as if this was a sinister plan all along. But nonetheless, though, the main topic is the usage of chemical weapons. Well, it didn't take very long for Esau to start chemtrailing us. And again, he probably was chemtrailing us during the whole Carr fire thing and wearing a mask today because the Delta fire, it's still unbreathable conditions here in Redding. So you shouldn't really go into town without a mask, except for in the afternoon. But this is early morning. So I'm here with a mask, and did this for almost 3 weeks straight, before during the Carr fire. And the Delta fire is only 5% contained. So, Esau, he's bringing destruction like he always has, but he's using a chemical agent. I have another video. Jason Walring gave this information that, Esau has used this weapon against the people of Syria, the same weapon they're using on Yemen and in Iraq. So the United States is the ones that are using chemical weapons, but is accusing the Assad government of using them, yet they just bombed Syria using this chemical weapon. So, anyhow, the fact is, though, is that we're coming out here, we're prophesying the downfall of America, which is what we are to do, prophesy against Mount Seir. And so we're telling our people that, the white man, Esau, in biblical Edomites, they're losing their structure. And so, they're demolishing this building. It's kind of funny because McMahon's Furniture, Radio Shack, Montgomery Ward, man, they didn't demolish the buildings afterwards, but this one is being demolished, as we speak. So either way, though, now they had said, though, that this area of the Sears was going to be like other mall centers. I thought for sure it'd be a FEMA thing, but hey, they're demolishing it just to rebuild. But I thought that they were going to rebuild and be Redding strong, concerning Keswick and other things. Well, if you're going to spend a few $1 million doing something stupid like this, you ain't replacing homes. Not to mention this place is on its way out. So I'm going to read out of Revelation chapter 20, because we know that Esau is back in power now. Now, Revelation chapter 20 is kind of interesting because it talks about that 1,000-year period when Esau would be put into captivity, and then what he would do when he get out. So it's kind of broken up in parts, but we're going to put this together, because, well, Apostle Tahar and the apostles of Great Millstone have already put this together, but it's always good to reiterate they've taught. And that's why we say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who have taught this truth. Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Well, who's that talking about? Who is the dragon? Who is Satan? Who's our adversary? Esau, so-called white man. So it's talking about the first Roman Empire, which went into bondage for 1,000 years. That's why they dwelled in the cave rocks. And he cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him. They should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So again, what's that little season talking about? The time that we're in now. Christianity, when it started making its mark and all that, started really in 1490. So we're just going to jump down to verse 7 here. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan, who is the so-called white man, Esau, the Edomites, shall be loosed out of his prison, and he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. So he's going to gather all the nations, which is what's happening now. That's why all these nations are drawn into this war, especially in the Idlib province of Syria, which is right there by the Euphrates River. these biblical prophecies is coming true as this being the year of prophecy. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about. So, who are the camp of the saints about? Great Millstone. We're that camp, man. Because I don't even consider other false camps that are out there, but it's part of the Esau deception is to use others that are coming to the realization that they're Israelites but are in false camps, which they'll eventually make their way back to Great Millstone. And the beloved city, again, you know, beloved city, you know, so definitely this battle is going to take place, you know, in Jerusalem as well, because the old Israeli state Levant, ISIL, them terrorists, have to be destroyed. Amalek has to be eradicated. And fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them. So, in other words, the Israeli state Levant, ISIL, is going to be destroyed, but there's a lot more. Of course, the main place, you know, their battle place, America, Babylon the Great. And the devil that deceived him, that's talking about Esau, was cast into the lake of fire. That's what this place is going to come when the 200 million nuclear missiles fall down on this place. And brimstone, which is what it does, you know, totally demolishes everything in its path. Where the beast and false prophet are, which we know that the whore, Babylon the Great, sits in the midst of the beast. And they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Now, people will often refer to this as trying to bring in the hell doctrine, but wait, there's more here. Now, I saw a great white throne for them. Well, who's that talking about, you know? Well, it's talking about the rest. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Yahweh. And the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things works. So what's out as we should. And I've seen a lot of us do it too. And death and hell were cast into this is the second death. So what's that second death? 200 million down upon Babylon the Great. And the rest of the world, for that matter, because this is a nuclear war. Whosoever named the book of life was cast in the lake of fire. That means 2/3 of our people are going to die. You got to keep in mind, though, that these prophets, who were they talking to? Did they talking to the entire world? Were they talking to the cosmos, the people? Well, Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, has always sent prophets to warn the people. Who are the people? The Israelites, which is all of Israel. But 2/3 are not going to listen, just like they did when Yahushai was here. But there are those that are waking up to this. I woke up to this truth, you know, quite simply put, because there were others already out here doing the work. And as Brother Kazak just put up a video most recently, you know, that stop being a cheerleader and go out there and do your own work, you know. And that's what, you know, a lot of people, you know, I was watching them too, and then I was ready to go. You know, it was time to stop being lazy, go out there and teach. You know, and before that, you know, I was just putting videos together, you know. But, you know, you can't just be a commentator on the sidelines. You got to go out there and teach. So here it is. It is over with, yet in the midst of the Delta fire. Now, that's not hitting the Redding area, but the smoke is, and that's why I'm wearing the mask. You know, it's definitely about an hour away from Redding. But I-5 is closed. It's been closed since last week. So I'm glad I got down to San Francisco last week, because Greyhound most likely would have canceled quite a few buses this weekend, or just, the bus was already 3 hours late just last weekend, so can you imagine adding a couple more hours, coming down $2.99 for the detour, which adds 2 more hours. Again, you know, that's the Most High, you know, bringing judgment on this place, but yet, you know, because we know the sword is Esau, but yet there's been a master plan, because you take a look at the spots on the map of Car Fire, and you look at Delta Fire, and you look at Hearst Fire, they're all together. Kind of like Mendocino Fire was quite a few fires that molded into one big fire. Now, we know that the Car Fire is already put out. But, however, though, the Hearst Fire is only 95% contained. So, these fires, it ain't, this is what you would call the pre-fire season. So this ain't the main peak of the fire season. And with this being the year of prophecy, we're going to see a whole lot more. And so now's the time to do the work. Put in overtime, because we are near that end of time. So I hope this has been edifying. Like everything else, though, if you're like me and you're not near a camp, try to get near the camp. But in the meantime, just make sure you're built up on everything. Come out here and teach, because the laborers are so few. But most of all, though, we can see, though, that Babylon the Great is near its end, and they will not be able to rebuild, because this what's happening here is going to cost a lot of money. So they're not going to rebuild Keswick. They're not going to rebuild all them homes. People are being relocated to Sacramento at the Kmart Relocation Center, which is now run by